All right, the bear market. What does it mean? Should we be worried about it? And what can we do to prepare? So this is going to be very much a two-part kind of scenario I'm going to put out there. And I am going to look at the ILV token and my own personal bear market thesis. That's mostly going to be in the next video, but the context of this video is going to be really, really important. I'm going to tell you where I think the markets are heading, where you should be loading up, and kind of what your game plan should be, especially if you're an Illuvium bull, just like me. I'm going to jump into it straight away. The first thing I do want to show you is I have two events coming up on Augment, which is with TSG. As you guys might know, we have the Jackbox community event. That is this weekend, Friday night in most places in America on the EST, EDT at the moment, since it's daylight savings over there. There's 500 USD in prizes to give away, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've already set up all the systems. Jackbox is a really fun game. For those of you who have never played it, it's like a party game. You can tell lies and stuff and have a bit of banter. It's going to be really cool. There'll probably be lots of ETH Lizards jokes in there too. The other event is Find the Illuvial. Simply put, in Augment Clips, there's going to be an Illuvial in the month of June. It might already be there. Go and check it out. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos, and try and catch that Illuvial before anyone else. Also, not only the first person wins. Other people can be winners too. So if you find it, shoot me or TSG a DM. Okay, let's jump into the markets. Now, I want to look at the SPX first. This is one of the largest index funds, which is effectively a lot of stocks in one fund to help hedge the fund and keep it a lot more balanced, and so that it doesn't rise or has less volatility essentially, because it's some fund managers organizing all this and that sort of stuff. It's all non-crypto stuff. I'm sure you guys don't care too much. It is important though, because we need to look at two major times in history. The 2000 bubble, which I can't remember what bubble it was. I think the dot-com bubble, yeah, the 2000s, the dot-com bubble, and the global financial crisis, which was in 2008. Now, there's a lot of moving averages here. I'm just going to remove the three you don't need. Okay, this white line is the 200 weekly moving average. This thing, I'll show you in a minute, provides major support in a majority of bull runs. All right, think about that. In a bull runs, it produces really good support. The lines bounce on it up and up and up. The candles, the charts, whatever, they go up. But if they crash through it, that usually indicates some major issues, and it usually falls again. Okay, that's what I'm looking at here. In the 2008 global financial crisis, the housing crisis, obviously we don't know if we're going to another crisis. But many people do believe that everything bubble is happening and so on and so forth. And there's lots of issues in the world, and you've got wars and things and lots of problems. The pandemic and stuff is still kind of having lingering effects. There's a lot going on, and we need to be prepared for this scenario. That's all I'm saying. You need to be aware of it. Okay. So they say a recession typically lasts about a year. I think it's more specifically about 11 months. Usually the 6 months until you find out you're in a recession, and then another 5 months. So in this case, the 6 months from the top to when you would actually find out, not 41 bars, probably closer to around here, right? You're going down about 20%. And we're looking at something like this at the moment. On the SPX, it might actually be 30% at the moment, the S&P 500. And then you have this next drop. Once you lose the 200, it didn't lose it quite concretely here, probably lost it closer to this area. Once you lose the 200, it dropped another 50%. And you'll find if you look at it on this one as well, it is also 50%. So if we look at it here, it's about 40%. So it's about that. It took a lot longer for the dot-com bubble and a lot shorter this time. But since then, we've been in a secular bull market. That means that for the past decade, over a decade, the majority of stock markets and things like that had just gone up. That's what it means. They've gone up. Okay, and the thing we need to remember, and Market Makers harps on this really well, I'll put their link in the description. They're my favorite for TA. I'm no expert, but I'm just trying to help you guys out. They remind us that Bitcoin has never existed in a bear market, not a stocks bear market, that is. It's only ever existed in a stocks bull run, so keep that in mind. Here's the pandemic crash, but we got back up above it almost instantly, and now we're looking like we're about to hit it again. Now we could hit it and bounce. That's very possible, depending on what the Fed does and all that sort of stuff. What I think is more likely is we could fall through it. And what we're looking at is another 50% drop. And that'd put us really low. We don't need to know how big 50% is. I guess like 1,800 points or whatever, right? And why we need to know this is because of what's happening in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I'm going to touch on them quickly. I'm not going to look at ILV heaps in this video. I'm going to focus on the next video. You guys need to know what the macro markets are doing. On Bitcoin, we just lost that white line, as you can see there. And in Bitcoin's history, and I've gone all the way back there, this is on Bitstamp because it has a really long running history. In Bitcoin's history, we have not gone below the 200 weekly moving average yet. Okay, so what I'm saying is we don't know what's going to happen. Now, what we can look at is some simple technical analysis to see if we do fall even lower, where might we go to? Now, if we use a trend-based Fibonacci extension, which basically just uses several points in a trend instead of just two, to find a Fibonacci extension, right? And here it is here. It goes down and we've currently hit the 1.382 Fibonacci number. That is a pretty major one. And the next one below that, the most commonly retraced 2 fib, besides maybe the 1 fib, is 1.618. And that is down here at just over 10K. And you guys want to know something really funny? If you measured from about where we'd be falling, about 20K, down to 10K, it's about a 50% drop, just like we've seen in previous global financial crises in other markets. And the other thing you should consider is that the volume traded here is the most heavy volume, really down the bottom here technically, but more recently, there's gigantic stem of volume around this 9K, 10K range. So I really do think we're going to go there. There's very real possibility we could bounce first, and I don't know where that will go, but I do think we'll descend to these lows after the fact, okay? The next one we should look at, Ethereum, is doing a very, very similar thing. Now, of course, this is the weekly chart. It'll take 7 days to print these next candles, but we've got a very similar structure. The problem here is Ethereum's one lines up a little bit different with the extension. Whoops. So if we drew that Fibonacci extension, and many believe that since we went up faster this time, we could drop faster. So it's about waiting it out. If you've already made huge losses, just keep buying in, buy slowly over time, DCA. It's time in the market, not timing the market. Believe me when I say that. So we're doing a similar thing, except we lost the 382 in this case, and the 1618 is about $550. If we hit that point, I'm going to stack so much. So the thing to consider is that the ILV token unlocks, and Kieran has hinted about setting up a way to alleviate this, is happening on June 30th. And believe me when I say I have my USDC ready for when that happens, because if Ethereum crashes and the token unlocks happen, we're going to get some really cheap tokens. And in my next video, I'm going to go through my bear market thesis and why the token price is irrelevant. Just means you can get more tokens, which is obviously great. But we could be going lower. A lot of the volume is around the $400 range. If I had to kind of like assess this situation, I would say, where's the little arrow thing? I've never actually drawn on it before. There it is, pretty easy. I would say we go down, we wick through down about the 400 level, fill a bunch of buy orders, and then we come back up and probably trade in this range for a while before ascending eventually on the next bull run. We have no idea where that is. I would assume about 4 or 5 months from now is when things could start to see a recovery. Otherwise, potentially sometime early mid next year. So definitely keep that in mind. It's about waiting it out here. Don't go too hard, or just don't all in, all right? That's the last thing you want to do. It could cause some serious problems. We will have a quick look at ILV so I can show you my fibs. I've got a couple set up. They're pretty minor. We'll go on the daily because there aren't enough candles here. But you can see there's already a lot of volume here. It's not including as many candles as I would have liked. I might be able to adjust that really quickly. Inputs, number of bars. I can't remember which one's the one I need. I think it's 250 here, maybe. It didn't help too much. But I think down in your $50 range, you're going to be looking at some really good stuff. But we're already on the 2 fib for a pretty major fib extension. Otherwise, there's really no other data we can get at this moment, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so I think ILV is looking great. I'm eager to buy more, but I'm going to wait till the token unlocks happen. I'm going to wait till I see a bit more information, kind of a bit more data on what's happening, what people are doing, what people are thinking. and then I'm going to decide what I want to do. If you guys want a video about what I'm going to do next, of course, not financial advice, please leave a comment down below. If you guys want to see what I'm doing at every point, let me know where. Twitter, if you want me to make community posts on YouTube. I'll try and keep you informed of what my current plans and current thinking are. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. It's going to be really, really good. I'm making up some stuff. My bear market thesis on Illuvium is kind of how I got started with the channel. So you're going to want to see where it's at. All right. I still have as much conviction as I had a year ago. Right. I definitely do. I'm very eager to share that with you guys. Have a good day, guys.